So should we, now that we're very thankful, should we move on to our last movie review for the day?
Yes, let's do that.
I will. So our last movie review is going to be Saving Private Ryan, which I cannot believe is 20 years old already. Yeah, I remember watching it when it first came out in theaters.
Right, yeah. It's hard to imagine because it's one of those movies that you and I both grew up on, and
Yeah, yeah,
so
because you think of I think of 1998. It's like, oh, it's not that wasn't that long ago, and then you look, it's like, holy fuck, it's 20 years ago.
yeah,
Holy crap, where did the
yeah,
time go?
exactly. Uh,
Yeah, we've been watching a lot more. This month has been a lot more recent films
right, yeah, but yeah. But I
within the last
mean,
20 years.
I guess that's like a relative term now because like yeah, 20. It was 20 years ago. That's I mean, it's not from like the 30s or whatever, but
No, no.
you know. or even even now like from the 70s, but 98, that was 20 years ago, believe it or not, 20 years ago.
Yeah,
So
just really crazy. I still I was looking at that because I have it some of the I was looking up kind of the some of the articles about the movie and all that. It's like, oh crap, that was 98. I can't believe it was that long ago. But so anyways, what are your thoughts on Saving Private Ryan, Andy?
well, before I get into that, just a quick recap. Yeah, so Saving Private Ryan, about this ranger unit that goes in to find this one particular man within the war, because all of his brothers had died in action, and he was alone. He was the lone survivor of his family, and so kind of like a PR thing, they decide to go and rescue him so that he can go back home and so like an entire family's lineage won't be wiped out.
Yeah, and
And
that is a real thing too, by the
yeah,
way.
that was based on actual case that happened in real life. I believe it was the Sullivan brothers. They
Yeah,
were in the Navy, and yeah, like I think all but one of the brothers. No, I think all the brothers got wiped out in action,
right,
and
and
so
that's part of the reason why they don't have family members on the same in the same command for
right.
that very reason.
Hmm.
And then too, there was also because I'm an only child,
Hmm.
so that was I was actually I could choose if I wanted to volunteer and go to combat, I could have done that, but
Hmm.
I ultimately chose not to do that because I think my mom would have been really pissed off.
Hell
um,
hath no fury, like a mother scorned.
oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no. So, but that is it's a real thing within the military, and that's actually why they don't have close family members stationed in the same unit.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so they go and find him. Um, they go and find him and save him, and along the way they do take some losses because it starts off with like a squad of like 8 or so guys, uh,
Right.
and then like two of them die in while looking for him, and so like I think that's like kind of like a theme that was kind of repeated, as like kind of like the absurdity of the objective of the mission was, to send like all these guys for one man, and I think what the a good example of that was that scene where they run into that pilot who was flying the general, and like for the general security, they welded on like extra armor to the plane, which drastically affected how the plane would function, and they ended up crashing, killing the general, and like
Right.
and most of the flight crew, and the pilot like remarks like all that for one man, and then like all the men in the squad to go look for Private Ryan is like, yeah, a lot, there's a lot of that going around.
Yeah, I definitely it has been a while since I've seen this movie,
Hmm.
and yeah, I noticed a lot more of those like kind of those type of scenes. I definitely captured a lot more of that where you see the yeah, like the scene you just mentioned. It's like damn, like there's a lot of this kind of there is some of that artistic influence in as far as the connection between these units and uh, but yeah, it's one of the bloodier films that we've seen so far.
Yes,
Um,
yeah. Particularly like the opening scene, the storming of the beach. Still, I think one of the best openings of a war movie ever.
and that is a pretty good representation of what actually took place on Normandy.
Right. I heard actual Normandy survivors. They like had to be like they walked out of the theater because it was just like so like realistic. Like they were saying like they were like they were getting kind of like flashbacks.
Yeah, it was kind of like same thing with some of the Vietnam vets. Like there's certain things that just kind of like they put them right back in that situation, and I
Hmm.
have a feeling that with those Normandy survivors, like they were right back there. It's from now it's 70 years ago, but it's man, like back then it's like 50 years ago, and it's like they're right back in the war.
Hmm.
It's kind of it was a gruesome battle,
Hmm.
and that was had we lost that though, I don't think we would have had a harder time winning that war. That was us winning that battle really put us in the fight.
Right, and yeah, that was like our one shot because we didn't have that many men to for that particular action. Um, I forget what the amount was, but it was like there was like they were considering different sites too, or like whether they were gonna do like a multi prong attack or whether they're gonna just like put it all into one action. And they immediately dismiss the multi prong attack because there weren't enough men to field like all those different positions.
It's funny. So to kind of, so sorry, we're diving a little bit into the history here, because
Yeah.
I've been watching some other like movies on my own time, that not necessarily with this, but in because I watched Patton this weekend too, and you do see where Patton gets, he knows like kind of because the Normandy invasion was kind of the brainchild of Dwight D. Eisenhower, along with others. But he
Yeah.
and uh, Patton was wanting to get in the fight, and he's like, "Hey, I already have I have some alternate plans because there's problems with the Normandy invasion."
Hmm.
And he was kind of like one of the proponents, like we have to like come at it from different angles and kind of misdirect them. And ultimately, that's not what ended up happening. And you had some of the airborne divisions that were trying to go in behind enemy lines that ended up, everything kind of got fucked up.
Yeah. Got
As you saw in
foobarred.
Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, I got foobarred because like they
Yeah,
missed like
Fubar.
a lot of
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, a lot of the paratroopers they missed the mark or they jumped too early because they were taking flak and so like they like jumped like too early and so like
Right.
they didn't like make it to like their designated landing zones and so
Because that was really like, yeah, that Normandy invasion. That was really our last best chance. If we didn't break there, I
yeah
mean,
to gain a
nothing else that
foothold
we had
within
done.
Europe, yeah, that was the best chance that we had to gain a foothold within Europe.
Yeah, if we because we had well, Patton kicked everyone's ass in Africa and Italy,
Hmm.
but it wasn't. But the European front was, yeah, that Normandy invasion was key to us taking that. We might have been able to still beat the Japanese. We might have still been able. We kicked Italians' ass,
Right,
but
yeah,
yeah, Germany was still kind of. Had we not beaten Normandy, taken Normandy,
yeah,
that would have been a
because the
perfect
Germans
result.
still had some teeth um, at that
Yeah,
time, and so yeah, so the invasion of Normandy that was crucial for the war effort within Europe.
Um, So yeah, I think obviously that was a great representation of what happened, and this was kind of this story was kind of sort of based on a true-ish story, but it was a fictional unit that was going in and trying to find this Private Ryan.
Mhm.
And man, I forgot, it was a pretty star-studded cast.
Yeah, it was. I mean, for the time, you have like Tom Hanks. You had.
In the film.
I'm sorry.
You had Vin Diesel in there.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Affleck's brother. That was Casey Affleck, right?
He was in that movie.
Ben Affleck. Yeah, he was the guy from Brooklyn.
No. See that's what I thought too. No, that's Ed Burns. That's Ed Burns.
He looks like.
Yeah, I know, because I initially thought that he was Ben Affleck.
No, I knew he wasn't Ben Affleck, but I thought maybe it was his brother.
Oh well, no, yeah, it was Ed Burns. You had Tom Sizemore. Who else? You had early Bryan Cranston.
Yep. You had Ted Danson in the film.
Yeah, Ted Danson. You had Paul Giamatti.
Matt Damon.
Oh yeah, Matt Damon. Oh, it's hilarious because something that I learned when the actors were all put into like boot camp, to kind of like make their camaraderie seem more natural. The only person, and this was intentional, the only person that didn't have to do the training was Matt Damon, and also like the kind of animosity that the squad would feel for Private Ryan would be kind of genuine,
real.
Yeah.
Say, hey, fuck you.
Yeah, you didn't have to do any of the crap that we had to do for this movie, you jerk.
Yes, well, it's like, and when they finally found him, and he didn't want to leave his unit behind, he's like, and the guy was I forget his name, but the guy from Brooklyn, he's like, hey, asshole, we lost men trying to find you, you idiot.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
So there was that. And I also heard too that because Tom Hanks is somewhat of a historian, and this was he's kind of was somewhat behind like Band of Brothers, and that was kind of his. So this
was
a role that he really felt very strongly about, and was such a. And I think Tom Hanks is probably one of my favorite actors. I think everything he does is generally pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
And he really, as Captain Miller, he was freaking fantastic in this role. I think this is one of his, kind of the pinnacle of his, of his acting was done in Saving Private Ryan.
Right.
It was top tier stuff from Tom Hanks.
Right. Oh God, I was gonna say something. Thanks a lot, Robert, you asshole.
I know.
Oh God, no. Oh, it's gonna be bothering me like crazy. Tom Hanks.
Well, I was saying that he was kind of somewhat of a historian. He really cared about how the film was portrayed. I think he was behind Band of Brothers too, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, like his production company, Playtone.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God, I almost had it again. Shit. God damn it. Oh man. Yeah, it's in World War II. God damn it, it's so fucking annoying. Anyways. Alright, ratings time. What do you give it?
This is one of I have to go probably 4.5 stars on this one. It's one of those all-time great films. It portrays kind of a lot of the struggle in the European theater for World War II. All the characters are their portrayals of their characters are believable. It's a great film. You're on the tip of your toes, the edge of your seat the entire time, and it's a long movie, but man, it is not boring it whatsoever.
No, it's very engaging. It's very engaging. I agree. Yeah, and I would agree with you. Like 4.5.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's on the that AFI top 100 movies list for
Mm-hmm.
good reason.
Right.
This is one of the great. Yeah, it's only 20 years old, but damn, it's like it was one of those instant classics right away.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah,
So.
I love the movie. I've probably seen it maybe like a handful of times,
Mm-hmm.
and I always you pick up new things every time you watch the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I picked up some of the the artistic points that they were trying to point out, and um, it's kind of all these people fought and died to save this one man. And at the beginning of the film, he's Private Ryan. He's moving out. He's visiting the graves of the guys that died for him, and he's still conflicted. It's like, am I a good man? Did I, did they die for nothing?
Right. Yeah,
And
and that's and it's
cause, yeah,
and
because the last words that Captain Miller, who sacrificed so much to go and save him, and
yeah. Spoiler alert.
he's dying.
Yeah, Tom Hanks' character dies.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's like he
It's
grabs
been
him by
20 years, people.
he grabs him by the collar and he says, "Earn this,
Yeah.
earn this." And you kind of like uh and you really feel kind of like the from at the beginning of the film, like now you understand like why he was so conflicted, going. I think it was probably the first time he had been to the graveyard in
Yeah.
a
At
while.
Normandy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I remember what I was gonna say, but now it works even better because this specific subject came up about Tom Hanks' character saying, "Yep, earn this." Uh, like in the middle of the movie when they're holed up in the church and Tom Hanks' character is talking with Tom Sizemore's character, and they're just talking about like the all the guys that they lost previously, and they talk about this one specific guy that used to be in their unit that died, and how he went and like he would pee on other people's jackets like a V for his last name, and he was saying like, oh, like this Ryan guy better be worth it, like because I wouldn't trade 100 Ryans for one of I believe
One of him. Yeah.
yeah, one of him. And like yeah, because he was saying like yeah, like this Ryan, he better find a cure for some disease or create like a longer lasting light bulb. And
Yeah.
but then like yeah, the last words that like that Tom Hanks character Captain Miller says to him is like, earn this. And it's funny because initially he was saying like he had to do all these great things, like, oh, you bet, cure a disease, solve world hunger, or something, something grand. But I think like there's like a really like kind of like secret message in there, and I think it was exemplified by the question that he asked his wife. It's like, am I a good man? Tell me I'm a good man. Tell me I
Right.
led a life of consequence or of purpose. And then like you kind of like see like over the shoulder, and like you see like his kids and his grandkids, and I think that's kind of like I think that's the ultimate purpose, specifically for a man, is to specifically for a life of purpose is to you know have a family and raise them right, so and like to ensure that that like your kid, like your grandkids are raised right, and so on and so forth. It's like kind of like like it's the secret lesson. It's the secret kind of wink in the nod that he did lead a good life because he got married. He raised a family, and like now like his children are raising a family, and that's I think that's the secret message of the movie, of like of and that secret that cryptic kind of last thing that Tom Hanks' character says, like, earn this. And I think like
Yeah.
them showing like his family is like he's like this is the proof that he's a good man. that that he took this gift. He took the gift of life that these men laid their lives down for, and then passed it on.
Right. And that was yeah, it wasn't kind of like an overt, kind of in your face thing, but the way it was done, it was like, man, it's a powerful message, that's
Mm-hmm.
very subtle at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's crazy because I didn't even like realize it until like I
That
watched
was
it.
something new that I noticed in the film this time around that I didn't never noticed before.
Right. Yeah. Because because everything everything that they show like has a meaning, and especially like when he said like tell me I'm a good man, and then it shifts to like the view of his wife saying like what are you talking about, and then like and then you see like the rest of his family is like tell me I've led a good life, tell me I lived a life of purpose, and then you see his family, and it's like that's the life, that's the meaningful life. That is the a life of purpose.
Yeah.
And like yeah, and then, yeah, so when I realized, I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, it's such a powerful movie.
Mm.
It's one of those must sees. See it several times. You're gonna see something new every time you see it. Go watch it.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.